Hello, good morning, Internet, and welcome to the master list of logical fallacies. Today we are covering number 15, argument from ignorance. And this is Alan and I's first time back on camera seeing each other live in fucking years. It's, it's amazing. I missed his face live as opposed to videos, which is completely different. It's not very different, but I like having uh, body language. If I'm speaking too quietly, please let me know.
Doing great.
Okay, great. How are you, Alan? Tell me what's going on with you in the short version.
He goes, be short because normally you're long. The short
She
version,
said,
she did say that. Um, let's see. Doing good. Today was a good day. Um, in a lot of transition. So moving, coaching business is changing. There's a possibility of me moving to Miami and working out there. So just a lot of transition, a lot of change. So I'm in a it's a current moment is a moment of reflection and pause and taking it easy. So this is a nice, always a treat to be able to have these calls, but then to see you is also awesome too. So it's a good time.
yes, I agree. Hopefully, our audio is significantly better than the first 14 fallacies. So we're gonna kill it today. Do you have it pulled up on your end?
I do.
All
I
right,
do.
all right, great.
Read it.
And then double, yeah, we are recording. Okay, just double checking. All right, Alan. So yeah, let's dive into. Oh, by the way, last week we touched on argument from consequence. Were there any? I asked you to like sit on that one. Did anything like else hit you with that one?
Hmm. No, nothing crazy came through on that one in addition to what we had already said.
And no worries, because that one will come up later. So all right, argument from ignorance is a fantastic one. Sorry, so let's dive in.
Let's do it. Alrighty, number 15, the argument from ignorance, also argument ad ignorantiam. The fallacy that since we don't know or can never know or cannot prove whether a claim is true or false, it must be false or it must be true. That's interesting. Example, scientists are never going to be able to positively prove their crazy theory that humans evolved from other creatures because we weren't there to see it. So that proves the Genesis six-day creation account is literally true as written. This fallacy includes attacking the evidence, also whataboutism, the missing link fallacy. Example, some or all of your key evidence is missing, incomplete, or even faked. What about that? That proves you're wrong and I'm right. This fallacy usually includes fallacious, quote, either or reasoning as well. Example, quote, the vet can't find any reasonable explanation for why my dog died. See, that proves that you poisoned him. There's no other logical explanation. A corrupted argument from logos, which is appealing to logic, and a
I don't
fallacy
think it is. Double check.
logo.
Logos. Double check. I don't think it's appealing to logic. I believe it was from the divine, but then you clarified later that it's not quite that.
Oh no, you're right. Good call. Word well, okay, so it's kind of got two things. One, it's applying, yeah, a word of God, and also applying to reason. Yeah. But we can stick with God. We can stick with God with that one. Yeah.
I've been re-listening to our calls,
Yes.
and your initial assumption was that it was logic, but then you're like, no way, let's double check. And then for a while we were saying it was divine.
Yeah.
Then
It said
then
divine, and then it also
you
said,
found something else later that was like, well, that's not quite divine. It's like the assumption of what the divine wants.
something
I,
like
I
that.
think that's what it is.
We should probably revisit this. It's funny. We think we have those down. I'm gonna have to, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna
We
get
do
the,
not have those down.
yeah, we're gonna get those down. That way we can like know exactly what the hell's going on. Okay. From logos, and a fallacy commonly found in American political, judicial, and forensic reasoning. The recent famous quote flying spaghetti monster meme is a contemporary refutation of this fallacy simply because we cannot conclusively disprove the existence of such an absurd entity does not argue for its existence. See also a priori argument, appeal to closure, the simpleton's fallacy, and argumentum ex silentio.
Which I think is great because we already a priori was the very first one, and then we did appeal to closure
Yes.
before.
Yeah, so that was cool because it kind of gave, as I read them, like, oh, I know what that is. I know what that is. That's cool.
Yeah, so as you can see, a lot of these fallacies are like slight deviations of other ones.
Yeah. Let's
All right,
see.
so thoughts on argument from ignorant. Oh my God, argument from ignorance.
Argument from
When
Argumentants.
I speak soft, I'm not used to speaking this softly, and
It's
so my I already slur words as it is, and I have
all
to
good.
be extra careful.
Yeah, I find this one super interesting. I think it's interesting. I like that it's used to uh claim things as true or false. I
Yeah,
like that
this
it can be used in either way.
I've seen this one used in um, as arguments for God all the time, like all
Yeah.
the time. This might be one of the most used, if not the most, where it's simply like, I don't know where the universe came from, therefore God did it. Or I don't know how life on earth got started, therefore just some guy, he did it.
Yeah. I
And
think-
the and it talks about attacking the evidence, like the missing link fallacy and whatnot, where you can have some evidence leading up to the thing, but not all of it. And so, in the example of abiogenesis, which is the emergence of life, we are now on the bleeding edge of cracking code on that. From science communicators, I've heard we essentially have steps like 1 through 3, and then 5 and 6, and then 9 and 10. But we're missing like just a couple to like see how does simple molecules evolve into the first cell, and like we almost have all of it. And so, but because it's almost complete, but not entirely, that is where I've seen young Earth creationists will say, "Aha, you don't know all of it, therefore it's wrong." It's like, come on, you can't be that dumb,
Yeah.
dude.
It's like it's interesting the lack of grace that people give for progress. I think that
Oh my
goes
gosh,
it
yeah,
goes in
you don't
both
know all of it
directions.
all at once. Stop trying, figure it out.
Yeah. Or it's like, or it can come in. I feel like it can go in the opposite direction. It's like you can have creationists who are like, get blaming science for not having it figured out immediately, and then also it's like science can people who are more of the scientific community. It's like they can also shoot that back at like people who are religious in the sense of being like, I don't know, you're uh like we've talked in the past about like quantum entanglement and how that gets overused in the space or incorrectly used in terms
Yeah,
of like
quantum
how
mysticism. There's a lot
yeah
of buzzwords that get thrown around:
yeah
frequency, energy. It's like, okay, but do you actually know what these words mean? And like when I ask people, they have absolutely no idea like the correct usage. And it's just like, okay, well, if you want to make up whatever definition you want, we can equivocate all day, but that's not science. I'm not doing it.
yeah. Um, so it's interesting, yeah, which is interesting that it can be used, I think, in multiple contexts. But yeah, I find this one fascinating. Just it's like I think I like that it said at the bottom, see also a priori and the appeal to closure, just because it's like you would think that people, if they're making an argument from ignorance, it's like, oh, we don't know the answer. You would
You know
think
the
that,
answer.
huh?
Well, essentially, argument from ignorance is I don't know the answer, therefore I do know the answer. That
Right.
it really is what it is.
Right, but that's to me that's fascinating because it's like that really like hones in on the appeal to closure. It's like
Yeah,
we can't sit with I don't know. And so it's like, well, because I can't sit with I don't know, I'm going to claim that I do.
I'm gonna make whatever the fuck up
Yeah.
to fill in the gaps, and and then I'm gonna defend it against all reason. Like
Yeah.
any science to the contrary, like no, it doesn't matter. I'm emotionally connected to my idea, and so it must be true. It has to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think a lot of people um, connect their identity. This was a big thing I learned from Tony Robbins was that people are really attached to who they think they are,
Yeah.
and a lot of that is also their beliefs, whether it be a big idea like religion or a personal hypothesis that they have come up with,
Mm.
and it it may be falsifiable, but even if it is falsifiable, they will not allow it to be, and they will have all this ad hoc reasoning as to why it just has to work. And it's like, okay, well now you're redefining your belief into something that's unfalsifiable, which makes it meaningless.
Yeah. What's tough, I think for people too, and like on that identity piece, I think what's hard is like, and I can appeal to this for myself is like sometimes when there's so much that's uncertain and there's so much that's when people are really just afraid, what they really want in that situation to calm their nerves is they just want to be right. It can be very addicting to want or need to be right, to quote unquote calm the storm on the inside. And so it's like I look at this and it's like, yep, like it's amazing like I was just having a conversation with Amanda earlier where we were talking about finances and we were discussing our financial situation and how to make choices around finances because we're beginning to just like be more strategic and present and conscious with that with each other. And we were she said a statement that I didn't agree with, just strictly based off of like what meanings we give to words. What we ended up finding out as we were in discussion about what she said, um, she was in the stance of I'm right, and I was in the stance of I'm right. And what was funny is by the end of the discussion, we realized that we were arguing for the exact same point. It's just we were using different words to describe the same point. And it's like, yep, it makes sense because in the season that Amanda and I are in right now, finances is a huge point of contention. It's a huge point of uncertainty. And so it's like naturally our bodies are like, well, we feel super uncertain about finances. So let's try to be right about finances. I think that's really closely tied to this one with the argument from ignorance. It's like, I don't know, therefore let me at least be right.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I've been practicing over the past couple of years is um, instead of wanting to be right, the scientific thinking of wanting to be wrong. I
Yeah.
want to be wrong as shown to me as many things as possible. And until I get to a point where my hypotheses are essentially bulletproof, then you can have a high degree of confidence to say that, okay, this is most likely correct.
Yeah. Super good. Any any other additional pieces on this one?
The few that we're tackling right here are really big ones that will come up a lot. Primarily argument from consequence, argument from ignorance, and the next one. So let's move on.
Sweet.